Hello, wonderful teachers, and welcome to this quick tutorial on some of the checklists that you need to go through throughout the week and the month to make sure that your gradebook is in good shape. So first off, you'll notice that I'm in my sample course, Sample English, Math, French. What a combination. And as you can see, I'm in the grader report. Now the cool thing is whenever you come into your class and you click on grades, this is where you'll automatically be brought. So this is where we'll start off. Now, there are a few different things that we need to check while we're here. Now let's talk about what we want to do on a weekly basis first. Now every week you're going to want to come in and you'll have something, I'm sure, that you need to assign grades for. So go ahead and take that time to add in your grades for that week. So for example, if my students completed their homework or maybe an assignment, perhaps they uploaded an assignment, then I would go ahead and grade that at least once a week. Obviously, we have a 2-week turnaround period, but let's be honest, the sooner that you grade it, the better, because your students will be curious and it's less on your plate. Now, another thing that we want to do every week is come into the grader report and just kind of take a quick look at everything. So as you can see, I have some things that have grades in it. There are a couple things that I have some things graded, but I don't have everything graded. So as you can see, this one test student, she doesn't have a grade right here. So I'd want to assess why it is that she doesn't have a grade. Is it because I just put it up and it's not due yet? Is it because she really needs to have a 0 because she didn't complete it? What is it that's going on? So I want to go through and take care of those things during this time. Now, another thing that I want to look for is scrolling through and making sure that all of the categories and everything look normal. So some of the things I want to look for, all of these should be black, or if it's a clickable link like to an assignment or a quiz, it should be blue. The numbers should be black, so this way I know that everything is visible. Otherwise, the grades are invisible to the students and can cause some serious confusion, especially, for example, if they had a 0 in something and they can't see it, so they wouldn't understand why their grade is what it is. Take a look at these. I know this is out of, how many percent was it? 10%. Ooh, they both aren't doing too hot. Let's see, this category, yep, all looking good, all looking good, all looking good. And then of course come to the end and make sure that these numbers make sense. So as you can see in my example, we're in the spring semester. So I make sure that the 87 in the spring total is the same as the 87 in the course total. Same with the other one, 93, 93. This way I know that everything's calculating properly. Now, if you see anything that's grayed out that should be open, it's an assignment that has been completed, or maybe it's a category that's gray, let me know and I can help you out with opening that back up. And also, if you notice these numbers get weird, for example, if they end up being 1,000% instead of 100, let me know because I can help you figure out what's going on. Usually it's just a couple of settings here and there, so it's not a big deal. So these are the 2 things that you need to check on every week. So adding in assignments, grades, and just taking a quick sweep through and making sure that everything looks normal, the way that you would expect it to. If for some reason anything didn't appear normal, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to take a look at it with you. Now, there are a couple of things that we want to do on a monthly basis. One of them, of course, is go through just like we would on a weekly basis and make sure that all of the assignments have grades in them. So say it's the end of the month and Debbie Circle still hasn't done this assignment. What I can do, I'll just go into single view. I'll tell it, let's see, we'll override. I'll tell it perform bulk insert, 0 for empty grades, update, and we're all set. There we go. Poor Debbie. Go back to the grader report. And that way her grade is more accurate now. Again, want to check my categories to make sure the numbers make sense. So I know that this is, I believe it's 60% of the grade. So I want to make sure that looks normal. Everything looks black or blue, nothing's grayed out, which means it's not showing. And then the other thing I always want to check on is making sure the totals match. So spring total, Course total, same number. Ooh, Debbie's lost some points there. Poor girl. All right, now, we don't just want to look in the grader report, though. We also want to take a moment to look at a couple of students to make sure that everything looks normal. After all, one of the easiest ways to identify problems is to look at individual students. So to do that, what I'm going to do, let me just do it with one for right now, is let's go with Debbie's Circle. Now you see how this one button has grades for Debbie's Circle and it just looks like, I don't know, a bunch of buttons. We'll click on that and that will bring us to a page that shows her full grades. This way I can see everything. And this is basically what her parents and her see as well. So as you can see, this is out of 60, she's got 55. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. It all seems to add up. That is something that is always a good idea to look at. Do the numbers make sense to you and seem to add up? Let's see. We don't have anything in this category yet. Don't have anything here yet. Let's see, let's see. Don't have anything down here. Can you tell it's a test course? But as you can see, categories where there aren't any assignments yet or aren't graded assignments yet, it just has dashes because it's not counting for or against the student yet. So I would assume that by now, because right now I'm making this video in October, you probably would have something in every category. However, even if you don't worry, the gradebook is smart enough to figure out what needs to be going on. And this also is a great place to find if we have things that are outside of their categories. Now, as you can see, everything looks normal here. We've got the totals and we don't have assignments like this hanging out somewhere else. But let me pause this for a moment and show you what it would look like if something wasn't where it belongs. After all, if things aren't where they belong, if they're not inside of a category, it can do crazy things to the grade. So pay attention. We have 85% right now. Let's see what happens if we change things up. All right, so I've made some changes to Debbie's, to the gradebook in general, so that way I can show you what happens when it's not all set up right and we have things sitting outside of the categories. Now, having things show up outside of the categories is a very easy mistake to make. After all, if you don't pick a category for something to go in, then the gradebook just says, oh, okay, you just want it in the course in general. Got it, no problem. And then it puts it somewhere else, usually outside of all of the categories, and then it causes mayhem. So if you remember, Debbie had an 85% in the class, and so let's see what happened. So as you can see, everything appears in categories. We've got stuff up here in categories, and then, wait a minute, this isn't in a category. You see how projects, and then there's the spring French total, and it's right here outside of a category? We don't want that there. We're going to need to move it. But as you can see, it has a dash, hasn't been graded yet, so it's not having a terrible effect on her grade. However, get a load of this. The week 9 math video quiz, it didn't make it into any of the categories. See, this one I accidentally just put it in French, and so, you know, it's sitting outside, but it's not doing too much damage at the moment. Obviously, we're still going to want to move it regardless to keep it from doing anything crazy and to keep everything in order. But because this is outside and this is a 0, her 85 dropped down to a 47 overall in this class. So that makes a huge difference. And same would go for if it was 100 and your student was totally bombing everything else. It could have a huge impact. So instead, here's how we can fix this. So let's scroll up to the top. Let's go to the categories and items, and let's find those things that are outside. So we scroll down. As you can see, it makes it pretty easy to find the categories. So these are all categories. This is the main spring or French category. And as you can see, it's sitting outside of everything except for spring French. So what I can do is either click on this. Let me show you what happens if we click on this first, because there are two different ways to move it. So I can click here and scroll back down to spring French. And then it was le vocabulaire et la grammaire. So I'm going to click right here and that'll put it inside of the category. Now notice that it is kind of indented, as opposed to being on the same level as these categories, so I easily know that it belongs inside. So I'm going to click right there, and it'll refresh, and now it's inside that category. So all is good there. Now this one, this terrible little one that is destroying her grade, let me show you the other way that we can move it. Obviously we can click this again and choose where it goes, but the other thing we can do is actually click this checkbox right here. And actually, if you have a bunch of things to move at one time, this makes it super easy, because then you go click, 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 click. And then it says move selected items to. We're going to click this, and we're going to choose where it belongs. So we know it's in spring math, and it was a quiz, so we're going to put it in exams. I'm just going to click on the category where it belongs. It'll take a moment to refresh, and boom, it's right where it belongs again. Just like that. Pretty easy, right? So those are some of the things to be checking throughout the month and through the week. So you want to make sure everything looks like it's normal, everything looks like it's in a category. Make sure there aren't any strange numbers showing up, nothing's grayed out, which means that it's hidden, and that's about it. Also, check out the checklist that is attached so that you can be sure that you're hitting all of the major points. And as always, if you notice anything weird, if you have any questions, if you need any help, just let me know. Have a wonderful day.